Hi, I'm Jason from cirq-rentals, and today I'm going to show you how to set up the Big Agnes Sheep Mountain 2. The Big Agnes Sheep Mountain 2 is kind of the core of our backpacking line for our rental fleet. It's the go-to for your all-around trips, short distances. It's not the lightest tent in our rental fleet, but it is very durable. It's great for guided trips. It's also great for rental fleets in that way. And it's very easy to set up, very quick, and very intuitive. And we'll show you how to do that here to help you out, but really easy to set up when you get to camp. And like all Big Agnes tents, the instructions are in the stuff sack, so that just helps you out when you get to camp if you don't have access to the instructions or a video. So first thing, we'll unpack all the things we need. We're gonna need our tent stakes. Then we'll locate our pole bag in there. There we go. Next, we'll pull out our tent body. I'm gonna leave the rain fly in the tent bag for now. That's the last thing we're gonna use when we set up. Like all Big Agnes tents, the rain fly ribbons and tent ribbons are color coordinated. So it makes it easy to set up. The poles are also color coordinated, which is really nice. Silver or gray is generally at the head of the tent. And orange is usually going to be found at the foot of the tent. So it just makes it easy when you're setting up to kind of quickly locate where you need all of your ribbons to be based on your setup and your campsite. So I picked out a site here. Nice grassy kind of soft area. I made sure there weren't any rocks. I made sure there weren't any pine cones or sticks or thorns that might either penetrate the tent from the bottom or just be uncomfortable to sleep on. And I've determined that it's relatively flat but might be a little bit sloped this direction. So in that case, I like to put the head of the tent uphill. And so that's what I've done here in this case. A little bit easier than having sort of the blood in your body rush to the head of your head. So I like to orient it that way with the head of the tent sort of uphill if I have a slope. Obviously, the flattest ground you can find is going to be best. Now we're going to grab our poles. And for the sheep mountain, you're going to have 3 pole sections. One will be your stabilizer pole. And then you'll have 2 poles for the body of the tent. And some older tent designs, you had to fish these poles through sleeves on the tent. We really like this tent because it's a clip design. You don't have to do that. So it's easier to set up. You don't have to worry about sort of missing those sleeves or getting the wrong sleeve when you're setting it up, which is really nice. I generally set my poles up first. They're going to cross on this tent, corner to corner. So go ahead and set that up like that. And in this tent you have grommets for the poles and little pole ends. So I'm going to go ahead and clip that in to the grommets there. Then I come to the other side and I kind of walk it slowly up and put a little bit of slow tension on the pole while holding that ribbon in place. And you just want to be gentle with your poles the whole time. The last thing you want is to break something while you're at camp. You do have a pole repair sleeve that comes with this tent, should you have some kind of pole emergency in the field. It's always a nice insurance policy. And then at this point, we're going to go ahead and clip the tent. Go ahead and clip the center, and then we can start clipping the body of the tent here. Okay. Now our next step is we're going to install the stabilizer pole. And you notice the stabilizer pole has rounded ends on it instead of kind of the flat grommet section. We're going to clip that into this plastic acceptor on the tent body, and it's going to go over your poles here and clip in on both sides. And that just helps spread the tent out and give you nice vertical sidewalls, which gives you a lot of extra space inside the tent. And then I'm going to go ahead and clip this onto that top pole there, just to really tighten everything and hold everything together on the tent itself. So now we've got the tent body set up where we want it and how we want it. Our next step is going to be to stake it out. I generally will pick one corner to start, and then I'll go opposite corner. And I'm just gently pulling the floor of the tent nice and tight. That gives me extra room in the tent. It'll allow for a better pitch on my rain fly as well. And it'll give me a little bit of extra room in the tent when it's all set up and I'm inside. Now on the Sheep Mountain 2, you do have doors on both sides of the tent, which is really nice, so you don't have to bother your tent mate if you're getting up in the middle of the night. You have really large, durable zippers with zipper pulls. Nice and easy to find at night. And then large tent door toggles here, so you can toggle the door back. And if you've got both sides open, you have a really nice wide opening to get in and out, throw your gear in. If you have kids, you're camping with kids, it's really easy for them to get in and out of the tent as well. So we like this design on the Sheep Mountain a lot. Really, really durable. And now for the last step, we're going to install our rain fly. So again, I'm checking my ribbons because I know that my silver ribbons are going to go toward the head of the tent. First thing, we do have the pockets underneath on the rain fly that hook into your stabilizer pole. So this is a good time to do that before you stake everything. It'll just be easier to get to, and the tent won't be quite so tight as it will be later. And here you can see that pole. It's got a nice reflective strip on it and a little pocket there that just slides right over the top of that stabilizer pole. All right, there we go. We've got those in place. So now we can start clipping our line into the ribbons on the tent body. Next, we're going to want to stake out our doors. And again, I'm choosing the ribbon opposite the door section because I'm going to want to be able to open here and access this side of my door. But you have ribbons on, you can make a choice depending on which side you want open or not. All right, so I've got both of my doors staked out here. I am going to go ahead and stake the tent. Again, this helps protect me in the rain. It gets the rain fly pulled out a little bit farther from the tent, so any moisture is dripping farther away from the tent. But it also promotes airflow up and under and through, and that will really help you with condensation from all the breeze that's going on inside the tent. Side of the rain fly is really wet. Often you've had a condensation problem because you didn't have enough airflow in the tent. And so the next step here will be to open up your vent on the top, again to let that air flow through. And on the Sheep Mountain 2, you have vents on both sides, which is really nice. Provides a lot of ample airflow. And now that everything is staked out and we've got all of our pockets connected and we've got our vents opened up, now I'm going to go around, tighten all of the rainfly ribbons because I want that rainfly to be as tight as possible. All right. And then we have the setup on the Big Agnes Sheep Mountain 2. And now to take down the Big Agnes Sheep Mountain 2, we're going to start by just closing all of the doors and rain fly vestibule and things like that. I like to close all my zippers when I'm packing up a tent because it makes it that much easier to set up when I'm at camp. Most of these 3-season tents have enough mesh that you don't really have to worry about the zippers being closed. On some tents that don't have as much mesh, you may want to leave some of the tent doors, the zippers open a little bit at the bottom of the door area, just to let a little bit more air out as you're stuffing the tent or collapsing the tent. But most of the 3-season tents that we use have enough mesh, it's not an issue at all. But I do like to zip everything closed. Next I'm going to go around and just loosen the ribbons on my rain fly, because I'm going to want those loose when I set the tent up next time. Like that. Next I can pull my door stakes, and I usually pull 2 or 3 of my tent stakes at this point if it's not windy. If it is windy, I'll usually leave the tent staked right up until the end, because you can take the rest of the tent down with that stake. Take out the stakes on your out points on your rain fly and your door vestibules though. You'll need to pull those. And if you're in grass like this, you can often do a good job of cleaning your stakes in the grass, getting some of that dirt off. It's just extra weight for you to carry later on. No need for that. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and close my rain fly flaps. Missed one of my guy outlines. And now we can go ahead and fly. And one thing I didn't mention when we were setting up the tent is that you do have on the underside of the Rainfly, you have Velcro attachment points that you can wrap around your tent poles. And I do recommend that, especially if you're in windy conditions. That just helps with the stability of the tent itself, helps protect your Rainfly. And it also helps make sure everything is lined up the right way as far as the structure of the tent. But if you're in fair conditions, it's not absolutely necessary to do that. All right, now that we have our Rainfly down, we can go ahead and take our stabilizer pole off. Now that our tent body is disconnected, we can go ahead and pull our poles out. Always a good idea to keep at least one hand on the poles at all times. They do carry a lot of tension in them, and when you pop them out of the grommets, especially if you have kids around, the end of those poles can fly out and you don't want to hit anybody or any pets or anything. So definitely keep a hand on taking them out. It's a lot easier with two people as well. One person can hold one corner while you disconnect another. And that's a great way to do this as well. I'm going to go ahead and put those in the pole bag. And with a tent bag like this, I like to go ahead and put the poles in because they're hard to get into the bag later on. And then I prefer to stuff the Rainfly first because I generally set that up last, unless I'm going to be in a rainy condition where I know I might need to set up the Rainfly first. And in that type of situation, I might pack it last. But in this case, we'll stuff the Rainfly in first. We don't recommend folding your tents. We recommend just stuffing them. It tends to help the tents last a little bit longer. On durable tents like these, you could fold them and that would be fine. One trick to help you when you're stuffing tents is that getting the bottom nice and tight is almost more important than the last bit. And so I spent a little bit more time here just making sure I've compressed that Rainfly really well into the bottom of that stuff sack. I am being gentle because I have my pole bag here and I don't want to push too hard and rip the Rainfly potentially on those poles. So I'm being careful. I am pushing pretty hard, but I'm doing it in kind of a gentle, progressive way. And then once I know I've got that tent or Rainfly in there, then I can compress it down a little bit more and make a fist with my hand and really stuff that down into the bottom. And now you see we still have a ton of room in here for our tent body, which is great. Go ahead and pull our last few stakes out. And now we're just going to stuff that tent body in just like the Rainfly. Again, we're being a little bit careful as we work around that pole bag. All right, still plenty of room in here for our footprint, for our stake bag, and any other accessories that we might want to put in there. All right, We've got our stakes pretty well cleaned up here. We'll go ahead and put those in the bag. As I mentioned before, your tent does come with a pull repair sleeve, and we'll show you how to use that in a separate video, but that's always really handy to have, and almost every tent on the market comes with a repair sleeve, usually found in the stake bag, or sometimes you'll find it looped over one of your tent poles. Put our stake bag in, check our area, make sure we haven't left any trash or extra stakes or anything laying around. Looks like we're good here. That's a Big Agnes Sheep Mountain 2 backpacking tent.